Chapter 5, The Apple of Life. The flow of air disappeared, and the feeling of feeling became a little more powerful. On one side, the white armor cuts a hammer to kill another gulp, a lightened ray of light blinding, where its chest condensed to a white armor-like limb. It also promoted, it grows fast. You glanced at White Horse, thinking in his heart. Whenever promoted once, the 6 major attributes can be strengthened once, but Yue Tang can only strengthen 2 attributes, the bilateral growth is less than 3 times. After leveling up, White Flag is more and more powerful, it mobilizes the white bows easily bring 2 funeral remains left to kill, the funeral of the attack is considered as completely destroyed. Tang is dead all over, now the new musical breaths out a breath, with the stench out of wearing a glove looking for the black living coin. At present, black tonk do not have any effect, but muscle speculation on the next day absolutely will be useful. You complete these things immediately return to the window to sit down, quietly restore physical strength is consumed. This place cannot stay long. You watched the situation in the room, frowning slightly. At this time in the small room superimposed on more than 10 bodies of headless, black blood stuck, the smell of the nose rushed into the nose, basically not local can stay. Moreover, through intense fighting, the chams felt bitterly dry tongue, extremely thirsty. The system of drinking water supply in DAC Trong dormitory does not dare to drink, he does not know in the country of poison exists or not, if left here also only dead road. Yue Tang rested for about 10 minutes, his physical strength slowed from 4 points to restore 7 points, over 20 minutes of recovery to 8 points. It appears that the speed of physical recovery is determined by the large or small quota, not the fixed value, the more difficult it is to recover completely. You always observed the situation of recovery of his physical strength, in his mind quietly thinking. Yue Tang stood up, looking out, now in the school garden basically restored calm. Students in the same school workers if not infected, have found places to escape, around the morning swaying, spread the whole school. The funeral gowns around the boys' dormitory were attracted by the intriguing Tran Quang group who left the vast area empty. In the empty area there are only a few scattered gongs are staggered idle. Creep down. You looked at the other genders, again ordered the white flag. The spirit of burning fire in White Cloud's eyes flashed, bringing the white corpse over his back, followed by a rope that fell on Yan Grung's window. The white cuckoo fell to the ground, emitting a sound, in a quiet area that seemed dense. 4 funeral couples are stunned suddenly turned together, toward the White House staggered away. White Cross falls to the ground, the heavyweight backpack climbing mountain very fast down the rope. Witness the 4 children groggy go past, white flag forward to the hammer to bring a funeral direct blows. Yue was quickly wrapped up behind a funeral, with a stick on his head, with his head tilted to the side. At the local level, there is no fear of germs on the body, even if normal humanity can win them. Slow action is the biggest downside. Funeral examination. The remaining 2 funeral examination just approached the music was immediately hammered by the hammer to kill. Over 2 levels of promotion, just not more than 10 children go to the public fin, white flag is easy to kill the funeral go straight single. Move forward. You pointed to the supermarket, one side ordered the white paper, the other side to the other. White Arc received the command of the Yue, the white arm spread the stride in the direction of the supermarket in front. Yen Trong chant full force behind. At this point the difference between bilateral has shown, agility as high as 12 points, the speed of white flag higher than the music to a large array, just a little dropped him behind. Yue and White Gosh ran on the road, making a loud noise, attracting the attention of the surrounding gong, and they wobbled and moved toward the side. The slow movement of the funeral procession is slower than that of the musketeers, but there are more than 10 funeral rites in the back that make people feel great pressure. Just be surrounded by music, the absolute cannot survive. Around the sub-supermarket of the school also have 4 funeral congratulations. They hear the static arise, wiggle the direction of the side to go. White forced to someday go to a funeral examination, the big hammer swung, then brought ahead to kill the funeral. 2 funeral congratulations on the white horse using the claw. White arm mobilized large hammer, each with a hammer, bring the 2 children the whole condemnation kill. When the music major came to the front of the supermarket, the funeral was around the white coat killed almost no longer. What a waste. You watched the funeral procession breaking into small pieces fell in front of Bach, not from a little fan. White body is immortal creatures, no fear of poisoning of the examination, if the song is for funeral ambush around, absolutely cannot light so gently solve the problem. The bungalow in his hand was tough enough, but not sharp enough, far away from his razor blade. What's that? There was a red apple in the center of the corpse. The apple was wrapped in a large package, so there was no black blood on the tang. You quickly picked up the apple and 4 pieces of evil survive, head into the supermarket. Active pulses, apple vitality. After eating in a non-combatant state, it is possible to recover 4 fitness points within 5 minutes. Can sell 15 UN survival point. You looked at the apple, a message appeared in his mind. Good stuff. The heavy apple hands into the heart, quickly rushed inside the supermarket. Inside the supermarket, 2 staff members have been turned into funeral but was killed by white coatie. The musicians rushed to look around without detecting anything unusual, quickly jumping to the counter with candy, chocolate and high-calorie food swept into his backpack. This high-calorie food is just a little more than enough to provide a person's daily energy. Sweat candy, chocolate, and biscuits, hit up again to scan a few more bags of instant noodles, 3 water jars, backpack filled with overflow. Chapter 6, First Classroom. Very heavy. Jingling estimated his backpack, frowned slightly, and took out 2/3 of the contents of the bag directly to the ground. This supermarket is not long in the local, around the use of ordinary glass construction, cannot prevent the power of the funeral. Only large supermarkets are allowed to block their forces. You wanted to run away from the school needs to be able to comfortably the most important, if wearing too heavy material will affect his fitness. Previously, the musketeers, after promotion, always strengthened their strength and physical strength, all because of wanting to flee to a safe place. Music hand holding a bottle of mineral water to drink a few sips, throwing away from the outside run away. Bach guarding outside, 20 funeral manchees staggering carries the feeling of endless pressure towards Yue Tang too. Seeing the 21 mourners form a team, the musketeers raised their eyebrows, 20 funeral giants crowded together in a space completely obstructed, he basically cannot be strong pass. Help! Save us! Right now on the grate, Chen Kang loudly shouted. Tran Quang sounded attractive, 20 funeral geckos staggered 10 children toward the 3 Tran Quang to go. Next to Chen Kang, male student Sun Wolong said. Chen, are you crazy? Called the monster lead over here? Chen Chiang opposite. I'm not crazy, there's so much fun underneath, if no one comes to save us, how long can we stay on the tree? Can you escape from the funeral? Zuchi was woefully slow, but the action of the funeral was slow, but the number of crowds, both the garden and the road, spread among the dangerous creatures, making no escape. More frightening is that everyone clearly understand that just having fun with a bit of flesh wound will be attracted to become a new funeral, no medicine to save. 10 of the funeral detachment, the pressure of the music greatly reduced. White force step to a long step, mobilize the hammer to take the first go to cut the head. You followed closely behind White Cloud, ordered. Cut off their left arm, White Flag. Essence of killing the funeral massacre cannot achieve strength, only he himself killed the new funeral to help him be promoted stronger. White Ark received the order, one step to step, a hammer to cut directly bring the left arm of a tight tear. The music rushed to the fierce woods on the head of the other, bringing his head directly to the other side. It's so damn good. Avoiding the great monk Tran Quang see the music together with white light cremation coordination, in the eyes to show a grimace. Lui. Dealing with two gongs, musical direction white light. At this time, the remaining 8 funeral candidates are slowly surrounded, once surrounded by Chung Trong will be handled. After the sound of the body of Bok White with the music is rotten back out, quickly escape from the circle of 8 other funeral. 8 children of the grotesque gaggle continue to nearly 2 people. As soon as the speed of the 8 children also difference, the child suddenly split off. Up. Left arm it. Trong Trong shouted out loudly. White Force stepped quickly to the hammer cut off the left hand of the funeral, Hip reappeared a chance to bring a funeral to the head of the other. Finishing the funeral, White Flag with the music back quickly after a separation from the contest. As such, the head of the funeral was killed under the association of music and white light, just a moment was processed by 2 people. He was promoted to the 4th level, invited to distribute 2 strengths. After finishing the final funeral, the sound of the other ear appeared in his ear. Strengthening force, physical strength. Jamboree panted, ordered. Finished 10 funeral, he consumes a lot of physical strength, his physical strength is only 3 points left. Each warm subtle flow began to warm up in the body of music, he gained strength. In front of the White Orchestra, the White Orchestra has also been promoted to 4 levels, with a combined strength of 30%. The funeral procession of 10 funeral giants made a little static, the 3 funerals scattered around are wobbling to shake his direction. Handle them. Then return to the realm. You looked at the 3 children, ordered. He was tired, need to recover his physical strength. White Ark received orders, step to 1 step, each hammer cut down easily bring 3 children to kill. What is it? When the end of the funeral was cut by the White Core, a white tank of about 30 particles in his body poured out, silently lying next to him, the musketeer immediately saw to go, pick up. The chalkboard, inside the chests may have a treasure that you can use, may also be nothing, wrestling your airship. Yingzhe just took the chest and a series of news appeared in his head. Without any hesitation, Jiang immediately opened the white box, a group of lightning flashes, a white dress close to the man appeared in front of him. The first level of the ward, which can prevent 3 attacks of primary sensitization sub-level. Cannot defend the attack of primary infection outside of the year. Additional effects, +1 force, agility +1, +1 health, +1 fitness, +1 spirit, +1 strength. It can be overlapped with the other room of the ghost system, not the effective overlap. Endurance of 3/3. Sold to the system store can achieve 50 UN survival point. Good stuff. Jiang quickly brought a suite of dresses to the body, which could equal 10% of body weight, which could prevent 3 attacks of funeral, equivalent to 3 more lives. Yingzhe together with the melee, even if one-on-one must be wary, only a little careless will be infected, have room for him, just be careful not to let himself be surrounded by the same, add 3 lives. The white suit at the right time fit his body. Instead of a wardrobe, the musketeer glanced over to the side, raised a thumb, then pulled into the cottage supermarket, began resting. Chen Qiang, what do you mean? Why did he go into the supermarket? Son, you see the music in the supermarket, difficult to understand. Chen Qiang speculated. It may be because the body is consuming too much. Travel tactics are extremely destructive of human physical strength, which cannot last long. Yuen, back in the supermarket, just advised to consider the circumstances around, quietly rest. Chapter 7, Supermarket. Tang contests surrounding sub-supermarkets have been baptized by the music. Not near the supermarket, also only 16 funeral grooms still under the compensation. After wearing the gymnastics room of the musketeer reached 13 points high limit, he rested 5 minutes, recovered to 7 points. However, Yu was resting for 20 minutes and his physical strength did not increase. Fighting too long, my body tired? Fitness is still too low. Yu raised his eyebrows, silently thinking silently. Today he battled with intensity, despite having undergone intense physical strength, but could not recover indefinitely. Can only use this apple. You brought out the apple power, bite up. A sweet taste in the mouth, flowing into his body. Yingzhu only bites some of the eaten apples, a flow of air flowing through the body, treating his tired body. 5 minutes later, the music was steamed airflow, toned body fat gradually restored, physical strength increased to 12 points. Rest, finished with music. Bok Trong White go to the supermarket. He's out? Son, you just saw the music appeared, suddenly excited to tell Chen Kang. Chan Kuang saw the music, in the eyes are excited and anxious. If you did not come to their rescue and chose to leave alone, they had no choice. I saw 16 funeral ginseng under the grate, throwing a hand throw a beer to the ground. Keng. The sound of animals around the surrounding area, 16 funeral congregation around under the root suddenly turn around, the direction of this groggy side. We're up. White flag. Yu carries a chopsticks in the direction of white light. Upon receiving his orders, White Bear stepped out along 16-year-old morning spree. 10 seconds later, the white lightning leapt to the head of a mourning man, a large hammer swung, one of which was swallowed. Easily eliminated a funeral examination, 3 other funeral from one side toward white flag 2. You go up, ramp up a stick beat on the head of a funeral examination, the birth of his son shifted to one side, a stone advantage on the body of another funeral, rocks fall on the ground. After wearing the suit of metamorphosis of the much larger, if there is no defense room, he absolutely did not dare to kick the funeral. Because just a little careless will be caught by a hole, he will die. White force to a hammer, convenient to bring a funeral beast. After leveling up to the 4th level, Whitebeard's combined strength has been boosted by 30% combat power, the most direct expression of which is its faster agility. You go up a long step, aggressively bang a stick in the head of a funeral examination, bring it head directly tilt. Only in a few respite, 4 mourners fell under his union with white flag. Defeat the 4 funeral candidates, music and light. White came out behind, around the 12 funeral mansions left in a circle, then a rampage to a funeral, a volunteer abducted 3 children again quickly retreated back. Only a few times funeral. 3rd slow action was the 2 musicians joint whitefish handle processing. What a waste. Unexpectedly in school we hide such a strong person. Seeing the 2 musicians with white light easy to cover the funeral, Chen Kuang said. Sun Wang and Wang Song both nodded. Finishing the song, the physical strength of the music to consume 3 points, down to 9 points. Strength and physical strength undergo strength, strength in combat strength is increasingly stronger. Cleansing finished the song, fast music to collect the loss of life on the ground. Seeing the funeral masses around the great entertainment have been finished clean music, 3 boys are quickly climbed down below. Dear schoolgirl, I am the 3rd year of Chenghang Management System. Tran Quang crawled down to the bottom, went to the side, introduced music. I am the son, also belongs to the management system. I am Wang Song, management 3-year system. Sun 1 and Wang Sun all come to introduce themselves. Trong Quang Tran Quang, thanks. I'm a musketeer, and I've grown up. Recently, Quang Tran helped Muang Trong lead half of the funeral, so that he can kill the first contest, or he can only run away, cannot destroy the song. The most intimidating contestant is not the personal strength of it but the total number of infections. The amount of funeral increased, just about 20 children will be difficult to cope with, even though they can handle the same amount of physical damage and tremendous power. What are you doing? I have not thanked you for saving us. Tran Quang laughed loudly, then pointed to Bok White standing next to the music, asked, You, this how to do? The face of sun worship with Wang Song also fans look dry long. The face of sun worship with Wang Song also admired long-sided specialties White Horse standing beside the music. Just now they see the strength of White Force, each time the hammer to easily destroy a head exam. Go inside, say, this place is not talking place. Yin Yang looked around, pointing to the supermarket, said to 3 people. Tang near the party was baptized with Bok can purge, but inside the school the number of fun only fear of more than 1,000 children, they are not safe. The 3 nuns constantly nodded, followed by musketeers, quickly entered the small supermarket. As soon as he entered the supermarket, Sun Wu picked up a beer and opened his mouth, then breathed a long breath, said arbitrarily. Horny, finally alive, thirsty to death. Yu shook his eyes at Q1, frowning slightly, which was not safe at all, except that he did not like to hear the sound. Chen Chao finished sipping water to the side, pointing to white paper, asked. You, how can you get this? Can you tell us a bit? Together with Wang Song also looked at the music, in the eyes filled with aspirations. In the world suddenly mutation, funeral rage, everyone clearly only have the power to survive. You staring, Chen Chiang asked. The sound of claiming to be the god you hear? I hear it. Chen Gang said. I also hear. I also hear. Together with Wang Song said. You slowly said. I suppressed a funeral, from which it poured out a copy of the letter. Use the other version of the skill to summon this long dry. This is nothing to hide, now if they want to escape from here, maybe add some force to the best.